Welcome to the Menopausal Women Show for Nutrition, Health and Wellness. I am Michelle, and as a nutrition and wellness coach, I work with menopausal women to transform their hormone health and well-being to achieve the life they want to achieve. On this podcast, I share research findings on hot topics, talk with other holistic healers, and share my own experiences to empower women to take steps to a better lifestyle. Now, I get asked all the time about HRT. So this week, I'm delving straight into things, all HRT, and trying to demystify for you some of the information that's out there. There is so much information, and I don't know about you, it is quite overwhelming. Now, for me, I was lucky. I got very lucky, actually, as I had just transferred over to a really good female doctor at my surgery. And she spent the time with me going through the options and talked to me about all of my concerns, to which, can I please note for all my listeners, for the people that are watching this on YouTube, I'm not a doctor. And if after hearing this show you wish to embark on the HRT, then please do consult with your physician or some other qualified medical practitioner. So HRT stands for hormone replacement therapy. And it can be one of the many ways that we can manage the menopause symptoms. And it also has been shown to provide long-term health benefits, as it has been proven scientifically to help reduce the risk of osteoporosis and heart disease. But there are so many of you, and I hear you, okay, that women are anxious about taking HRT, and it's often because of the risks that are reported. But today, I'm going to take some time out with you to share with you some evidence-based reviews of the benefits and the risks, and what my intention is to help equip you to decide whether or not HRT is an option for you. So without further ado, let's get straight in. So how does HRT work? So before we start the menopause, we produce three main types of hormones. You've got estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. Okay, and effectively the menopause is the loss of the estrogen. Okay, we have a decline in estrogen and results in most of the menopausal symptoms. So whilst our testosterone levels gradually decline, and apparently they gradually decline from the age of 30, this has an impact on some of us, but not all of us. So HRT really came about because it replaces the decline of estrogen to help reduce some of the symptoms. So let's just put that into context. What are the benefits of HRT? So research has suggested that HRT can help alleviate or reduce the intensity, and that's important to make sure it's clear, reduces the intensity of hot flashes, low mood and anxiety, brain fog, vaginal dryness, bladder issues, joint and muscle pains and aches. That's just to name a few. Now, I chose to go on HRT, and yes, that was a personal decision because of my lifestyle. And also I was really deliberated with the symptoms. Okay, I really could not cope with them. But let me just be quite clear, from my experience, it's helped to give some relief in those symptoms compared to when I wasn't taking it, but it's not completely gone. And when I say that, just to give you an example, yes, I'm confident, and I don't suffer with the anxiety and the brain fog as much as I did when I wasn't on HRT, but it doesn't stop me. Like, the one pill does not stop me from not having anxiety or overwhelm or fatigue or tiredness. It just makes it more manageable for me. So, and this is why I'm very much a holistic coach, because I still focus on the nutrition, the exercise, and the self-care to improve those symptoms, which is really, really important. I don't think it is one size fits all, but that's my own personal opinion and my own personal journey. So let's look at HRT and the impact on perhaps other health conditions that's been reported, such as osteoporosis. So HRT replaces the estrogen in the body, and this helps to keep our bones healthy, reducing the risk of osteoporosis and preventing fractures. Which, as we get older, okay, this is where I go, it's quite key, because equally, if you are still active or not active and you're not strengthening your bones, then you could get loss of balance and therefore more likely to result in hip fractures. Now, research has also suggested HRT can help with cardiovascular disease. Now, there is lots of conflicting evidence, yet what we do know about HRT is if it started within 10 years of the menopause or before the age of 60, it can help to prevent or reduce the risk of dying from cardiovascular disease. So even if you have risk factors like high blood pressure or high cholesterol, doesn't mean that you can't take HRT. Now, the rest of the evidence, when I was looking at it, we go, okay, two things. We know that it's declining estrogen needs for healthy bones. So yes, it does. HRT does help with osteoporosis. Equally, there's strong evidence suggests it helps reduce cardiovascular disease. But the rest of the evidence is quite unclear. Some say it can help prevent dementia or reduce the risk of bowel cancer or to protect you from osteoarthritis and joint pain. But it's not concrete compared to the other conditions that I've mentioned. Therefore, I think let's pause at this moment in time and just ask yourself the question, you need to weigh up how do you feel about HRT in managing the level of intensity of symptoms with the longer term benefits and of course the risks associated with HRT. So just take a pause for a moment, just sit with us. Okay, HRT can help reduce and alleviate some of the symptoms, does have some longer term benefits. So how does that make you feel? But let's also address what are the risks of the HRT. Now, media focus heavily on the HRT risks, okay? And if you know me by now, me and my relationship with the media tends to be very dodgy because the media is the one where we go in the spiral of trying to diet, and actually diets don't work. Media is part of doom scrolling, which doesn't help with the anxiety and the overwhelm. And obviously we then go, the media focuses heavily on the risks of HRT. Yet scientific data, when you delve straight into it, shows that the risks are very low for most women. Particularly when the first thing that crops up is about the study where you're at increased risk of breast cancer, which I will come on. And it's been proven time and time again, and papers have been rewritten to say that study was originally flawed because of the sample size. Now, when we're looking at the risks, and I've said this throughout all of my podcasts and throughout with my coaching clients, okay, is everyone is unique. And the risk varies from type of HRT you take from person to person, which is why I can't stress enough, it's important to seek professional advice to make sure it's essentially tailored to your needs, because there is no one-stop shop for managing the menopause. There really isn't. Now, breast cancer is a risk that most of us women are concerned with in connection with HRT. And what the evidence suggests is that the longer you take HRT, the increase of breast cancer is likely to increase. However, there's always a however. It can still be low because other factors such as your background, your lifestyle, your genetics play a role in the risk of breast cancer. And I think that's important to know. You could not be on HRT and still get breast cancer because of the other factors. Now, evidence clearly suggests that drinking too much alcohol, okay, obesity, also has a greater risk of attracting or getting breast cancer. So taking HRT and the type of HRT also varies whether or not you're at risk of breast cancer and other cancers. And what I mean by that is that HRT doesn't always come in the form of a tablet. It comes in other forms, and I will come on to that later on this podcast. And therefore, the type you take also has an impact on whether or not you might be at risk of breast cancer. So let's just sum up this, because a lot of us are worried. If we take HRT, we're going to get breast cancer. Well, actually, you've got to consider that it's your genetics, your lifestyle, whether or not you're doing movement, whether or not you drink too much alcohol, whether or not, you smoke, your food, the type of food that you have, can all contribute to increasing that risk of getting breast cancer. It isn't just HRT alone. So when we looked further about the risks of taking HRT, evidence also suggests that risks associated with blood clots and strokes, but yet again is heavily influenced by the type of HRT and the method you take of the HRT. So there's strong evidence suggests that you can have a HRT that is taken through the skin and that does not carry as high a risk as those in a tablet form. But again, lifestyle factors such as smoking can increase that risk. Now, there are some medical conditions where HRT may be too risky, and this can include uncontrolled blood pressure, liver disease. And this is where, again, seeking sound professional advice is essential. Now, like with any medication that you take, okay, over-the-counter, the ones that you get off the shelf, there's going to be some side effects. And I think that's important to touch on that. So again, side effects vary from person to person, and to the type of HRT you're taking. So some of the research suggests that depending on the type of HRT you're taking, you may have side effects of itching for a while, bloating, fatigue, vaginal bleeding, low mood, anxiety, to name but a few. But equally, the researchers suggest that after a few months, it settles down. But it keeps cropping up for me when I'm looking at all of this and trying to package it up for you to say what's the best way forward, or what do you need to consider to go on to seek medical advice, is menopausal symptom management is a holistic approach. It can include medication if you wish for it to include medication. It is related to your diet, your exercise, and your holistic well-being. And we've talked about on other podcasts, and please do message me if you want links to the self-care, the self-love, the journaling. What does that actually mean? So it's a holistic well-being. So I've talked much about, well, first of all, there are some benefits. There's also risks. And we've talked about whether or not they're high or low risk. We've talked about that actually other factors impact how you may experience. And I particularly mentioned a couple of times the types of HRT available. And so I can't just leave you with that of not actually covering that. So we've covered that essentially there's three main types of hormones. Estrogen, so you can get estrogen only HRT, which is the most common form of HRT because most of the symptoms are generally caused due to decline in estrogen. And estrogen can be supplied as a tablet, a patch, a gel, a spray, a vaginal cream, a vaginal gel, a vaginal ring, or a pessary. Progestin HRT. Now, this is important for progestin because if you still have your womb and you haven't had a hysterectomy, you will also need to take progestin, because if estrogen is used alone, it can cause the lining of the womb to thicken abnormally, and this can lead to endometrial cancer in some cases. So progesterone protects the endometrium from this unwanted side effect of estrogen. Now, I was wrongly put on an estrogen pill and I bled for a good few weeks, and I was just like, no, this is not suitable for me. And that was before I went over to the female doctor. Now, there are different types of form of progesterone available, and again, it's very dependent on your stage of the menopause journey and your body. Some progesterone supplied may result in you having a bleed each month, so mimicking a regular period. Or continuous progesterone is usually recommended if you haven't had a bleed over a year since your last period, which was the case for me. So progesterone can be supplied as a combined tablet with estrogen, and that's the one that I use, or a combined patch, or progesterone alone is available as a capsule patch or an IUD. And then you've got testosterone HRT. Now, testosterone, particularly in the UK, is a newcomer and is currently only recommended because of the lack of evidence for reduced sexual desire, and only if standard HRT does not help. As I've mentioned, very limited in the UK as available because of due to the lack of evidence. And testosterone can be supplied as a gel or cream. So this is where we're asking for more research to be done for that to become so that we've got a full picture. But as I'm here today talking about you, I'm giving you the facts of what you need to know so that you can make an informed decision. So the majority of the HRT that's available to us today worldwide is a combination of estrogen and progesterone, or estrogen alone. So let's just backtrack here, okay? HRT is one way that we can alleviate or reduce the intensity of symptoms. It does have risks associated, but there are other factors that contribute to that. It does have some side effects, but that depends on the type of person you are. It is a unique experience. HRT is available in different options. And the conclusion being is that actually, if you take things through the skin, there is a reduced risk of some of the side effects and the risks associated with it, like blood clots, if you didn't take a tablet form. So there's quite a lot of the information, but I'm hoping I've packaged it up so that it's actually going, okay, that makes sense. Okay, I know what the types of HRT is available, know what the risks are, know what the benefits are. Okay, so what is the conclusion? Now, I had to reflect on this and take in my own experience. And it again goes back to everything I say, right? And particularly to my coaching clients. Your menopausal journey is unique to you. There is no other person than you. You're not exactly the same. Even with identical twins, you are unique in genetics and the way you experience stuff. So everyone is different. From the research today, HRT has proven to help relieve or ease menopausal symptoms. Yet its effectiveness and risk associated is very much dependent on factors like the type of HRT you take, your other risk factors of your lifestyle, okay, and your genetics. So what is my final word on this to help support you? Navigating and managing the menopausal journey is a holistic approach. One size does not fit all. There is evidence to support that medical intervention can help, yet equally combined with nutrition, movement, and well-being, your journey can be flourishing and not deliberating. There is also many women that have recorded a flourishing journey just by following natural practices. Still undecided? Seek advice and guidance from a medical profession or other holistic health leaders like myself. I'd love to connect with you today, and you can book your free discovery call with me to see how I can support you in your journey. And again, we can work together of your needs, your worries, your concerns, and together we've come up with a plan of action. Equally, still not convinced that you want a discovery call with me, then please do sign up to my email, because each week you'll receive hints and tips that can support you. And then when you're ready, we can always go further. So if you've listened to the end of this episode and hearing this, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. because I am entirely grateful for you taking time out of your day. I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and if you did, I'd be really, really grateful if you download, leave me a review, share this episode, and spread the word with others who may be interested in this topic. So until next time, my friends, take care, make sure you make yourself a priority, and take time out to consider what is available to you today.